Hey everybody, welcome back. We're here. We're playing Isaac. We won our last run. Was it? I wouldn't say it was like scary necessarily at any point. That's Tainted Jacob. Tainted Jacob to Blue Baby. Okay, hold on. I gotta think about this. Because Tainted Jacob patch notes. Tainted Jacob is now changed. From November 10th. Okay, hold on. I feel like you can't kill Tainted Jacob anymore or something. Just give it 1 second. I'm searching Control F Jacob. Jacob can now pick up health in ghost form. That does not prevent him from dying when getting hit, but does allow him to replenish his HP. Okay. He gets more iframes after being hit by Dark Esau. He no longer turns into ghost form if hit by Dark Esau while invulnerable. Okay. Dark Esau is invulnerable but blocks enemy projectiles. Dark Esau keeps a minimum distance from the player when not charging. Dark Esau's charge now ignores boss armor. Using an Anima Sola with no enemies as Tainted Jacob now immediately summons Dark Esau. Okay, look. I don't know how to feel about that yet, okay? We're gonna just start it up here. We're gonna do our best. That was a lot of text. I was peep-OGing for sure, for real. I'm trying to parse what this means. What it eliminates an avenue for success that was common with Tainted Jacob, which was killing Dark Esau and then just playing the rest of the run as the Lost. Now, the loss of that as an avenue for success, look. People have knee-jerk reactions, and that's understandable. I think it's not that crazy. That's pretty sick, man. I do think that it strikes me at first, at least, as being like a little bit like they saw people kind of skirting around the mechanic here and said, like, we got to put a stop to that. But it is also worth noting that, like, I can understand that. It was pretty rare to have it happen in the first place, that you could, like, win a run in that fashion. By rare, I don't mean, like, you know, you'd never see it. But I mean, like, there were only, you'd get candidates that were appropriate for that, like, you know, maybe 1 in 10 runs or something. This is just a terrible room for this. I know what I must do. Okay, you're going to get frozen, like, down here. I'm going to blow these up. Then I'm going to move in this direction in time. It's just an absolutely god-awful room for that to happen, but I'm glad we were able to puzzle it out. Just trying to approach it as analytically as is humanly possible here. You know, it's not an easy task. Tainted Jacob in the first place, and now, like, you know, the runs are a little bit more complicated to begin with, now that you've lost the ability to shoot the Tainted Jacob to death when appropriate as well. So I actually think, you know, I'm not allergic to the idea of there being hard characters in the game. I got this completely backwards. 1 second. And I'm okay with the change, I think. There's some positives, right? Like, it's good that it doesn't just get caught on, like, blue fires, I guess, when you're fighting an angel statue or something like that, and then die. And when it dies, like, for sure it turns you into the Lost, and then, you know, that can make... I didn't hear any consumables drop there. That can make your life a little bit harder. That's one of the things I really like about, Tainted Jacob to begin with, actually, is, like... Help me. It's just honestly really nice to have a lot of damage no matter what's going down, right? Like... Tainted Jacob, that was a great floor. I can't be mad about that. Tainted Jacob will never struggle to deal damage to enemies. He will struggle a little bit to stay alive himself, but that's makes these runs kind of fun. Now, I have noticed, apparently they've recently reduced the number of rooms with enemies in them. That's just conjecture, it's just hearsay. Certainly seems that way based on the number of rooms without enemies we have had. I have made it... Did you see it went right around his neck, man? That was like, that was the Trocar from Night Trap. The heck, that was like ruthless. I'm gonna save this Emperor card, because if things go wrong, an Emperor card could help us out a lot. Okay, like, I feel like I haven't really said anything of merit so far in this episode. So far, I'm feeling a lot of pressure to come up with a 10 out of 10 bit for the first time in my life. I know many people are saying this. Many people... Ooh, this is nasty. Many people probably thought I would use the Emperor card by accident there. I'm sorry to tell you, the rumors of my badness have been, maybe not greatly exaggerated, but, whoops, perhaps slightly exaggerated at the very least. Thank you, thank you. I'm leaving, I will be leaving now. I will be going. It is a Saturday. Sorry, banter's gonna get interrupted from time to time because this is not it's not a run where you can kind of set it and forget it, right? Am I really gonna try? I mean, with this much HP, it does seem apropos for me to at least look, I suppose. You know what? I'm gonna let's let the game either disappoint us or thrill us. Let's take both of those items. We got the HP to make it work. Realistically, what's our path to a loss as Tainted Jacob? Probably is not taking too many devil deals. It's probably literally getting hit 2 times. Once by Tainted or Dark Esau, and then once afterwards by literally anything, I suppose. Worth a check, worth a check. Everything here is pretty bad, though. Okay. Okay. It's not so bad. It is a Saturday. Household is still struggling under the effects of, I don't know, at this point, what has to be like 8 different cold and flu viruses, all like intermingling, you know, being manufactured in our cells, and then, you know, you shoot them out when they undergo apoapsis or whatever. Wait, apoptosis. So I forgot which one was Kerbal Space Program and which one was biology. Anyway, you know, we're working it through. It's definitely is a different cold and flu system this time. They're cold and flu season, man. I'm still feeling pretty good. Families, you know, we have our ups and downs from an immune system standpoint right now, but we're working on it. We'll get through it eventually. It's funny how your time scale changes, though. I've stopped thinking, like, you know, we'll probably be good by, like, Monday. Now I'm like, look, December, let's just look on the bright side. At least it's a month where you can kind of, like, you know, justify taking it easy for sure. Not that you should ever necessarily need that kind of... Oh, come on. I was such a good series of dodges, too. Not that you should necessarily need that justification, but it's a month where you can justify taking it easy, for sure, right? Okay, thanks for the extra threat there. Really appreciate it. That was very close. Now I'm like, yeah, but in January, by the time 2022 rolls around, we're going to be right as rain. And honestly, I think we're going to be stronger than ever. At this point, no common respiratory virus will be able to slow us down. Like NSYNC, this I promise you. That's got to be a Justin Timberlake joint. This I promise you. I've been really getting into NSYNC lately because of the Peloton. You know, I think they only have... It sounds like a lot, but I think, you know, when you consider the scope of popular music, it's not really. I think they only have access to, you know, maybe like a few, maybe like 1,000 songs or something like that they can play on Peloton. I guess they have to buy the rights, which makes perfect sense. I mean, you got to play by the rules. Don't want to play Baby Shark on stream and like accidentally get banned or anything like that. The current events kind of, no, I'm just making I'm having a laugh. This was not a good idea. Never mind, it was an incredible idea. You see the series of, help me, the sheer amount of Tinted Rocks here is of staggering merit. Oh my god, and then because of Mom's Key, there's an HP upgrade. Okay, let's just do the lap here. Do the lap, do the lap. I cannot get out that way. I will be reversing my lap. That was what I was worried about in the first place, but... Go ahead and charge me, and then we'll just do a lap here. He's good, right? Like, more black hearts appear. We might as well snag it. Is there a way out here? There is indeed. Emperor card still very important. 3 cents for this. Not really that pleased, but I'll take it. So I've been hearing a lot of, really getting into the songs that are still available on the app. Hearing a lot of Ed Sheeran. I gotta tell you, man, he rips pretty hard. Source Dude, Just Trust Me. Not my favorite. I will say, after like every ride that I do, I get, it algorithmically recommends things that I think, that it thinks I would like. And sometimes it's like, hey, do you want to cool down with a 10-minute Imagine Dragons stretch? And I'm like, that's fine. I'll just, do anything else. I always like to preface any bits where I criticize some degree of media. I don't really care what you listen to, what you choose to watch. You know, that's not the moral fabric of your character is your, you know, the #1 anime that you have on myannilist.net or whatever. Care much more about the way that, you know, you treat people and the values you hold dear to yourself than, like, you know, how critical you can be over the entertainment that you choose to consume or not consume. That being said, yeah, you got me. Not that much of an Imagine Dragons guy. I will say that in saying that, I do only know like the 80 or 90 songs they made that were played at every single sporting event for the past half decade or so. Radioactive, The Lightning and the Thunder. I'm sure there's a couple more that if I... There's a... Oh wait, that's... I was like, what's the one that goes like, I'm breaking up, I'm waking life, you know, that's... I believe that's Radioactive. I understand, dude, if people like it, they like it. There's no disrespect, man. That being said, I am also like, you know, I think it should be clear, maybe not to the app just yet, it is probably still gathering demographic data on me to, you know, sell to a foreign government or something like that. Like, it doesn't know exactly who I am and, like, all my hopes and dreams yet, but it's gonna get there at some point. And I look forward to it because, hey, like, selling out, like, all of my privacy and, like, biometric data, like, it sounds bad until you consider what you get in return, which is, like, really, really mediocre, recommendations for music. Saved? Okay, look, I got hit, but I'm kind of cracked. Like, the way I'm playing this Tainted Jacob run, I'm feeling really good about myself. Like, we've been doing some serious work here, man. Look, we got 10 bombs. What's better, TNT or the Book of Secrets at this point? I would probably say Book of Secrets. I'm not just being blinded by our golden bomb. I feel like any form of mapping could go a long way towards helping us out in the future. Please keep in mind, as you can see right here, you don't always have to use Animasola to, like, kill an enemy. I'm a little perturbed there, but that's okay. Sometimes you can use Animasola just to buy you some time. You can kill the enemy yourself and then get in there. None of this is what I'm looking for, but we will at least snag this. Charged Baby. I'll grab a Spirit Heart for safekeeping. I did think about, like, would I be interested in possibly getting Hive Mind? It's a very prospective item. Which is to say, I'm not too eager to pick it up with no guaranteed value. I kind of, you know, I'm starting to get down with Dark Esau here. The way I'm looking at Dark Esau is that it's kind of like, imagine if you had a Guppy's hairball that if it ever touched you, ruined your day. So, like, right now I'm laughing, I'm having a good time. I feel like a little schoolboy. The problem is, at any you ever see, and again, this is, you know, steeped in my own, you know, recent arc as a dad, but you ever see, like, a kid playing in such a way, and I'm gonna grab this for certain. You ever see your, not necessarily your kid, but a kid playing in such a way that you know they're gonna get hurt? But you tell them, like, hey, be careful, if you keep doing that, you're gonna get hurt. I'm gonna use my Emperor card, man. I'm out of here. Oh, God. I'm still out of here. Get me out of here. But they don't listen. And as a kid, I didn't listen either, right? I'm not trying to suggest that this is, you know, just the modern children. But You're like, hey, you know, that's why you don't run on the pool deck, because you might slip and, you know, crack your nose open a little bit. They're always like, I'm pretending I don't hear you, I'm pretending I don't hear you. And then inevitably, whoop, and they're down on the ground and they're crying. And you're like, look, I'm not saying you deserve it, but sometimes, you know, these are lessons that are, you know, apparently there's no other way to learn. You got to experience it for yourself. That one is from my real life, admittedly, like a long, long time ago. But I was getting swimming lessons. I can't remember whether it was like day 1 or day 5 or whatever, but I was well aware that there was a rule that you don't run on the pool deck. But I was also, and this is not even just a childhood thing. People are, even adults maybe, are even worse about this. They're like, I know that's a rule, but it doesn't apply to me. It only applies to people who are, like, you know, stupid enough to need the rule. I thought, like, this rule makes no sense. I guess they just don't like us having fun. And so my mom came to pick me up. I got so excited. I was running on the pool deck. And then I really thought that could work for me there. I remember the instructor being like, don't run on the deck. And I was going, ah. And then I slipped and fell and kind of like cracked my head on the deck a little bit. I didn't suffer any like long-term ill effects, I guess. Who knows? I'm not a doctor. But certainly, like, you know, bled a little bit and was, dude, that's too much mental throughput here, come on. And since that point onwards, I've been very, very cautious about, you know, how fast I move on the slippery pool deck. It turns out there's a reason for that rule. You might be saying adults don't make those mistakes. You would be very wrong. In fact, I would say they make those mistakes sometimes with graver consequences. Like, for example, it was 2017, 2018, I can't remember, but it was one of the summers in 2017 or 2018. Terrible wildfires in British Columbia. I know that doesn't really narrow it down anymore, sadly, but Kate and I went camping. There was a provincial ban on campfires enforced by, like, the park rangers and campground officials and stuff like that, because, you know, it's not necessarily that all the forest fires are caused by campfires, but you kind of want to mitigate the risk when things are at their worst, right? Like, it's a dry climate, you know, there hasn't been, I'll take it. There hasn't been precipitation in a while. You don't have to be a negligent camper to contribute to fire risk. You could, a stray ember floats off of the fire, touches a piece of, you know, dry tinder or something like that. All of a sudden, you got big problems. So, you know, I'm being genuine with you, even though I'm the same guy who gave the restaurant the slip all those years ago. We adhered to the campfire ban, even though a campfire is like one of the more fun parts of going camping, for sure. But as soon as, like, you know, 7 or 8 p.m. rolled around and the park rangers went home for the night to, like, you know, be with their families and stuff like that, pretty much every other campsite was like, you know, hey, that rule doesn't apply to me. It just applies. We'll just be responsible. Don't worry about it so much. And it was just campfires, like, blazing all night. I'm sure you got, you know, situations like that. I'm sure I have situations. I'm not saying I live a completely, you know, a life free of cognitive dissonance of that ilk. Seemed like fantastic timing right there. I'm merely suggesting that, you know, it's not something you necessarily grow out of. Hopefully you grow out of it, like, a little bit. If you'll excuse me, I have to check. First off, I think I'm going to get hit here, but also I have several Discord messages. Okay, that's fine. No big deal. I'm just not, I've said it before. When I'm looking at Discord and it has, like, a 1, I thought I could thread the needle, man. And it has a 1 next to it, I'm like, no big deal. When it has a 4, I'm like, oh man, it's going down. See ya. I do want to go down this way, though. Let me through, thank you. No, thank you. I'm not necessarily asking you, thank you, to describe me as, like, the best player that's ever played this game. But this is you gotta acknowledge, I guess I am asking that, actually. you got to acknowledge this has been a pretty stellar performance. We are going to get something from the item room. We don't really have an incredible selection of items here. I mean, Satanic Bible's great. And our run is actually, like, if we didn't have Dark Esau chasing us, then this run would be pretty strong and pretty stable. But we have not gotten enough, you know, firepower to compensate for the risk that we've taken on here. You know, if we didn't have Dark Esau, things would be great. And if my grandma had wheels, she'd be a bicycle. Or is it... Yeah, we went through this week in chat. Is it if my grandma had wheels, she'd be a bicycle, or my aunt? I know I said it wrong. But, like, maybe not now, but when I was on stream, I said it wrong. But then I took a lot of issue with that, because I was like, it's not wrong anyway. You know, whether my aunt or my grandma had wheels, you know, she would be a bicycle. It's not like only grandmas, you know, become bicycles when they have wheels. Look, we don't have to get into it. Soul of the Lost, not really interested. We are going to try to fight Blue Baby. I would love to pick up an item that did, you know what? We have HP, we have Spirit Hearts, we have Demon Hearts. I'm picking up Multidimensional Baby in the hopes that maybe we get a synergistic effect with Fruitcake or something. But this is actually going, man. And I know it's a little boring to have done this run so far and never been touched by Tainted Lost. Or Dark Esau, you know what I mean. That old song and dance. But, you know, sometimes boredom is like, you know, is good. I think people universally see boredom as a bad thing. I don't think that's smart. I think there's a few things in life where you should cultivate boredom. And I actually mean that genuinely, like without a shred of irony. I think you would be best served if you endeavored to make driving as boring as possible. Now, I'm not saying that you're guaranteed to crash if you have a fun car. I'm not saying, excuse me, where's my effect here? I'm not saying you can't have fun while driving, like if nobody else is on the road. I'm not saying, you know, don't say skirt when you make a right turn or something like that. But in general, like the kinds of people you see them, like, you know, on the freeway in traffic. Like, it was crazy. I didn't even really talk about this, but like, you know, last weekend we were driving around getting the COVID tests in Washington State. I was doing, I don't know, maybe like 6-7 miles. I'm admitting to a crime here. I was doing 6-7 miles over the speed limit in the slow lane. And just getting passed constantly by people with, like, bright red pickup trucks with their headlights off in the middle of, like, a historical atmospheric river. And I was kind of losing my mind. Like, I was just like, if there's ever a time, like, it's the rain, okay? It's not a blizzard. But it's like, it affects your ability to drive. Like, just, if it doesn't affect your confidence when you're driving, to be driving in bad weather, then you gotta recalibrate, because it's just scientific. I'm not, again, you know, you should endeavor to be, I'm scared, man. I'm taking way too much damage. We gotta do this. As crazy as this looks, this is our way out here. You should endeavor to be as confident as possible while driving, but when people don't adjust their driving habits for inclement weather, then I'm like, you're actually, like, you think it makes you a good driver, that you're driving like an a-hole in the rain, but it actually makes you like the textbook definition of like a bad driver. You know, would you really want like a pilot who, if there was you know, snow on the wing, was like, oh, hey Captain, should we wait 10 minutes for the de-icing? YOLO, don't worry about it. Whoa, what are you, a coward? Like, no, you want a pilot who's like, okay, we're gonna delay the flight for like 15 minutes just to get the de-icers going, and we're gonna take it easy today, don't sweat it. That's what I think, at least. That's what I would like to think that I would want. But I think driving, you should make as boring as possible. You know? I think that's the way to make it as safe as it could conceivably be. Now, I'm not an expert in basically anything in life. And by basically, I mean literally. It's by the definition of what an expert is. But I also think there's a case, and I'm standing on the shoulders of giants here. I think there's a case to be made for making, you know, investing as boring as possible. I won't belabor the point, but anytime you find yourself getting insanely excited about investing in something and you let your emotions take over, it's not to say with 100% authority source, dude, just trust me, it will always lead to problems. But I think it's, you know, you're making irrational decisions in a domain where rationality is of the utmost importance. You know, the quote-unquote, I know this is like boomer tech, but, you know, quote-unquote, what you should be doing is, with an incredibly sober mindset, in an unemotional moment, making a plan that you can stick to, and then just, like a robot, sticking to it every month. And then coming back in, you know, 30, 40 years and being like, wow, check it out, we did it. It's not, you know, gonna get your heart rate up, but probably leads to better long-term results. So I think boredom is, you know, it's an asset as long as you look at it in the right situation. So I'm looking at my ability to not get hit by Dark Esau here. I'm looking at it as a muscle that I'm having a great time flexing. I am hopeful that that will last. I would like to use our tower card, by the way, but... Okay, just be cool. Just be cool. Chill out for a moment. I knew I was gonna get tagged, but that's okay. Okay, that's pretty bad. That's much better. Just stay in this fight. This is a nasty fight, man. This is a lot of stuff to dodge. I needed that. What the? Wait, okay, that's Guppy's collar. We should at least try, of course. We got other ways out of this. That I think we bent the bullets at some point. Now this is what I wanted. Dark Judas, we no longer have to deal with Dark Esau, I think. We lost Anima Sola. Now we gotta put it on display for a second here, don't get me wrong. I guess it would have been, that's really bad. I guess it would have been better to have not used our charge on the Satanic Bible. However, I'm just gonna find like a room where it's appropriate. Maybe like, yeah, this room. Not a lot of rocks, gives us tons of space. There's gotta be a tinted rock in here. We've already gotten small rocks, so, you know, there's a great chance that we get some spirit hearts. I honestly, like, haters are my motivators. I don't really have a lot of haters. Like, just in general, like, people will sometimes post stuff, like, I don't really like NL's new attitude on stream. Like, they'll post, like, a bunch of, like, negative personal judgments like that, and then they'll be like, so I've resorted to watching 8 hours of content that he makes from yesteryear every single day. And I'm like, well, that's not really an insult. It's, I don't think you're trying to insult me as well, but, so I don't take as much offense to it as I think I used to. Hey, we're not gonna die. Not gonna die. Where's the final enemy here? Just chill, relax. We got Battery Baby. Saved. You really gotta watch out for when those bullets curve. This ain't Wanted starring Angelina Jolie. But even if people are, you know, if this run ends up being an easy win now, as a result of the transformation, I honestly don't want to hear it if people were like carried by, you know, Dark Judas, because we did what we had to do as Tainted Jacob. Like we stuck in there, man. This is not an easy run. I mean, it's just maybe it's an easy run relative to the usual difficulty of this character, but it's certainly not an easy run like in a vacuum. You know, doesn't this work? Am I crazy? It does not. Oh, you gotta hit it from the other side. Look, this is just for curiosity. I don't expect it to work. I thought maybe it would. I don't know how the physics work. Excuse me, you can get this for me? Thank you so much. I don't know how the physics work when, like, you know, you start to talk about diagonals in this game. Yo. Anyway. Whoa. If I could just build a little bit of momentum, man. Just, like, 6 demon hearts, and we're pretty safe. It's funny it's gone from a run that was like high danger to a run that's high danger because we're low HP, but really is just like the most kind of pedestrian sort of like, you know, stats-based run you could ever ask for. Just got a great amount of damage and a very nice rate of fire. And your head is all the way up it. Sorry, that's not a good Al Pacino. And your head, it's not Al anymore, it's Dunk. I can dig deep and find that. It's not Al anymore. Okay, it's cut. Why stop at 5 or 6 stores when you could shop at just one? It's not Al anymore, it's Dunk. Honey, you've got a big storm coming. Oh no, he's broken again. He's exclusively speaking in YouTube poops, as they call them. YouTube poops. Just focusing just ever so briefly, if you'll allow me. Oh, that's insanely good? Look, I can maintain any kind of pace for like 2 rooms. I can maintain focus for 2 rooms. You want me to be a speedrunner? You want me to play like, you know, Ikaruga at a boy genius level for 10 hours? I am not capable of doing that. You got the wrong guy. You want someone who, for 2 rooms, can dedicate 100% of their brain power to, you know, counting an assortment of cubes so they can make a 9-year-old cry in a Nintendo first-party game, Big Brain Academy, Brain vs. Brain Online? Yeah, I can do that, absolutely. That's not even a problem. Okay, not a great assortment of items, if we're being honest, but can do this at least. I'm feeling pretty stoked. The fact that I still can't get over that of all the runs we've had recently, our loss. We've got like 11 or 12 wins, 1 loss. Our loss came on an Azazel run where we got like infinite amount of overpowered angel items. Like that irony has not been lost on me. However, look at that. Hope you enjoyed the episode today. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!